What is lo-fi? Low fidelity, meaning recording of not so good quality. But there is more to it than the quality of the recording to this genre. So let's dive in. Okay, now let's start off by making a good chord progression. I'm bringing in the Spitfire Audio Labs because it has a really good piano in it, which already has that lo-fi vibe in it. Let's bring up the reverb. So if you're one of those guys or girls who think your music theory knowledge is not the best, then you can actually get the help of Cakewalk. The root note I'm gonna pick is C and the scale is major. After enabling, Cakewalk will only let us draw on the notes that belong to the C major scale. And the first thing I want to do is draw a bass line. Adding the third and fifth notes in the scale with respect to our bass line is going to give us our chord progression. You see, lo-fi hip-hop is kind of a derivative of boom bap, and a lot of boom bap is actually sampled from soul and jazz music. So let's bring in the jazz flavor by making these chords the 7th version. Like the C major is gonna become C major 7th. We can do this by adding the 7th note with respect to the root note. After adding 2 intermediate chords between the 4 main chords, this is our final version of the chord progression. And I finalized it by drawing the root notes down an octave on the piano roll. Then I moved on to add this snare. Then paired it with a really simple kick pattern. Increased the gain input and the volume for both the kick and snare because I felt it was really low. I felt like I shouldn't leave the piano to be the only tonal element, so I decided to add this violin from the same Spitfire Audio Labs to play the same chord progression. Even though I was aiming for simplicity, I felt it was too empty, so I added this shaker and perk. Since I was going for a minimalistic approach and was quite happy with this, I decided to move on to the mixing phase and adding effects. So the first thing I decided to do was take out the high end in most of the percussion. That was the shaker, and now goes the perk. Oh, and I did shift the notes of these samples down by 2 or 3 notes to give it a less refined feeling. And now for the snare. There wasn't anything to do with the kick because it was already a pretty lo-fi-ish kick. Then I directed the output of these percussion tracks to a single stereo bus in order to apply an overall compression and EQ to glue them together, and also to apply an overall effect if I want to. And then I went on to mix the piano, and of course the first thing I did was add the isotope vinyl. And then I went on to mix the violin. Okay, now let's listen to the output since it's complete. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about the bass. You see, I wanted to make this beat using exclusively the Spitfire Audio Labs, but unfortunately, the drums and the percussion were of acoustic nature. And even though I couldn't find a dedicated bass, I found a pad that I could transform to sound like bass. After arranging the bass notes on a lower octave, this is what it sounds like. Feels like it's missing something, isn't it? Of course, it's the ambient sound. So I found this rain sample and mixed it with the track. And added this plugin called Iota Mini for playing the lead. Took out the bass in it as well. And you heard me right, I'm gonna play the lead. Or in other words, I'm gonna freestyle the lead. This was for you, buddy. So this is the matrix view to which I have added all the data. If you don't know what this is, you might want to take a look at my previous video on how to use it. It basically lets you perform live. On a side note, I have stretched the ambient rain sound throughout the track length. Before starting to record our performance, we have to make sure that the lead instrument is only getting the MIDI data from the MIDI keyboard. And then on the track, we are ready to go. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, then do let me know by liking it and subscribe for more Cakewalk videos. See you next time. I'm gonna record now.